Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Evil Democracy 1932. It's important to stress that what you're looking at here is an early access build, so it goes without saying that everything that you're about to see here is subject to change. On top of that, I was paid to cover this game, so this is a sponsored video, and as such, I am not going to review it. This is simply an overview, so if you like what you see here, you can buy the game and play it for yourself. So what is Evil Democracy 1932? Well, it is a political simulator. If you've ever played The Political Machine by Stardock, then you'll be somewhat familiar with this. The general gist of it is you pick a party, you try and get as many votes as you can, and along the way you're going to manage your campaign, manage your money, and so on. So before we jump into it, let's go ahead and take a look at the settings menu. Sounds, music, video quality, and language. All of that is pretty standard. Training. Now, just a quick note about the training here. And this is sort of on par with the other games that this developer has created. For example, Evil Bank Manager is another title that this developer has made. It's sort of interactive, but it doesn't matter where you click. Like, it says to select any of the available leaders. It doesn't matter. I can click off of there and things will happen. So it's more of a click to advance the tutorial, not an actual interactive click this to move the tutorial along, you know what I mean? So just to forewarn you, if you're going through this tutorial on your own and you're clicking stuff and there's a disconnect between what you're doing and what you're seeing, it's not you. It's the game is just designed to continue the tutorial whether or not you've clicked on the correct place. So we're going to just leave the tutorial for right now and we'll jump into an actual game and I'll explain it hopefully a bit better than the tutorial will. All right. So when you start a new game, there is Germany 1932, Great Britain 1935, and France 1936. We're going to choose one of these three. We'll go ahead and just choose Great Britain 1935. From here, party registration. There's everything from Conservative Party, Labour Party, Liberal Party, all the way down to Scottish National Party. We'll just choose the Conservative Party and an initial budget of 2.5 million. That will change the final challenge rating down there. And then we'll hit start. Okay, now there's a lot on this screen. A lot. So we're going to take some time and look at it all. What's weird is that there are duplicate buttons. So for example, there are journalists buttons, one in the middle and one on the bottom. What's odd is that their icons don't match. For example, the journalists button on the middle of the screen has a feather on it, but the journalist button on the bottom of the screen has glasses, whereas the editorial button on the top middle there is glasses, and the editorial team on the very bottom is a feather. So it's like the icons don't match up for some reason, and again, this is still an early access build. I'm hoping that they fix this. That way newcomers to the game don't get confused by the iconography. Anywho, so let's just go through all of the different buttons and see what they do. And we'll just, instead of looking at the middle of the screen, we'll just tackle them one at a time along the bottom of the screen. Bottom left-hand corner is the debates button. This will pop up from time to time. No need to worry about it right now because we're too early in the game for that. Editorial team. This is where we would go to assign our journalists. We don't have any yet, so we'll come back to it. All right. Next is print. Print is where you would go to print newspapers, but we can't do that yet because we don't have any journalists. So let's tackle the journalists button. And this is a good starting point for any game that you play here. So we'll go ahead and hire, well, at least look at 10 journalists. And we want to see what their ratings are across multiple categories. There's newspaper, leaflets, investigation, and interview. Now, this guy has 10, 10, 4, 6. That's actually quite good. We'll go ahead and hire them. This guy has a 10 in leaflets. We'll hire them. We're looking for high numbers in investigation and interview, so we'll go ahead and do a 10 there in interview. There's a 9 in investigation. Let's go ahead and do this 9 in newspaper. Okay, I think that's good for right now. If you wanted to look for more, you can. Every time you look for more journalists, it costs you money to do that. All right, so now that we've got some journalists in our employ, they're not going to do anything unless we tell them what to do. Let's go to our editorial team. Now you'll see that we've got some journalists down here along the bottom row. Now, you can do one of two things with journalists. You can have them do tasks on this bottom row, or you can assign them to the very top to make your leaflets and newspaper distribution a bit more efficient. So, we've got a person that has a 10 in leaflets. So we need to find them and assign them to it. So let's see, leaflets 7, there we go. This guy has the leaflets in 10, we'll just drag them up there. Done, leaflets 10, great. Newspaper, we've got a free one, a free slot there, so we'll assign someone. This guy's got a 9, we'll go ahead and, actually, this guy's got a 9, we'll put him there. There is an open slot available, we can pay 500,000 to assign someone there. So, do we want to do that? Maybe not right now. There's other things that we want to do first, I think. This guy's a 10 in leaflets, actually. Maybe we should have done that instead. I don't know. We can replace them, but whenever we do that, we have to wait so many days. You know, for the sake of the tutorial, we'll just leave it. Okay, so now we've got someone in leaflets, someone in newspaper. We'll just go ahead and pay to open up that slot. And if we have a 10 or a 9 in newspapers, there we go. We'll just drag them up there. Great. And now we've got some remaining people that are free. So let's go ahead and assign them to tasks. All right. So we can do a couple of things with tasks. We can do an interview. We can do compromising material. That means a journalist will write an article that will financially harm opponents, or slander. A journalist will find material that will speed up the party's electorate selection process. Now, we have a party leader already, Stanley Baldwin, and he will change every playthrough. But you can see he's got like perfect stats and everything. Charisma, determination, eloquent language, and level of belief. But typically, you want someone with a high interview rating, a high journalist, or a journalist with a high interview rating to do this kind of thing. So what we can do is he's got a 9, so we'll just go ahead and interview for work done. This guy here, let's see what he has available to him. He's got a 6 in interview and a 3 in investigation. That's pretty crappy, actually. You know, I just want to remove him, and we'll hire a different journalist. Let's find someone with better interview and investigation scores. This guy has a 9 in interview. Go ahead and hire you. Let's go ahead and find a couple of more journalists that have high investigation scores. Oh, look at that, 10. Beautiful, 9. Oh, there's a 10 there. Okay, that's good enough for right now. Okay, so let's go to task, and there is a 10 in investigation. We'll go to compromising material, and now we can choose an opposing party, the SNP, the SPGB. The SNP has a rating of 1, so we'll go ahead and just start creating some compromising material about them. This journalist has an investigation of 10, which is great for compromising material, so to work you go. Task, 9 for investigation. Interview is a 9, so we'll go ahead and have them interview then. And this guy is not doing anything. Tasks, he's got a 10 in investigation. We'll do slander, SNP again. And actually, let's just do a different one. CPGB for work. There we go. So now we've got these journalists working down here creating articles for us, but they won't create articles right away. It takes time to actually do that. So we'll come back to these other 2 screens later. The staff. This is where you can go to hire agitators, promoters, and activists, and then go to the map to sort of assign them out. So we'll just hire some just for the example purposes. So we'll just hire you, we'll hire some of you, and we'll hire some of you. Whenever you adjust this slider, you can actually see income after hiring 1.4 million. So it'll tell you how much it costs and all that jazz. So we've hired some staff. Great. Leaders. We get a free leader. This is that Stanley Baldwin we saw earlier. We're going to appoint them as the newspaper editor. And we can then hire other leaders if we wanted to, but they are crazy expensive. 1.25 million for our first party leader. Our budget right now is 1.5 million. So we really don't have enough right now to hire another leader, but we will in later turns. But there are other slots like at a rally. So you can put leaders at rallies to improve rallies' effectiveness, sponsors, a treasurer to manage donations to the party, and then elections to falsify the results of the election. So you can hire various party or leaders rather to these various positions to improve those sections. Dogmas. These are positions that your company, your party will take. For example, if you click on this one, and there different dogmas will pop up in different playthroughs, which is kind of cool. This has a right ideology. This is counter-reformation. Changes to the country develop little by little. Positive raises the status of the party leaders, whereas the negative, the cost of organizing protests, has increased. So typically, whenever you adopt one of these dogmas, there's going to be a positive and a negative, and you can see the current ideology position there. It looks like none of these actually support, oh, there we go. Reformism brings changes to the country through reforms. That is something that my ideology needs. So we'll just go ahead and just take that one. As a positive, the costs for a protest have decreased. Negative, the parameters of your party leader have decreased. So we'll just accept the dogma, and it'll take 40 turns or so for that to kick in. Speaking of which, on the right-hand side of the screen, there is a task section, and these are like little side quests that you can complete for extra money or other benefits. The map. Okay, so this is where we can assign our activists and agitators that we've been hiring. So let's go to agitation. And on the right-hand side, it says agitators. We've got 115 not occupied, 100%. We'll send 100% of those 115 out. We can send it equally to all regions, proportionally to the voters. 25% of the regions have the lowest percentage of our voters, so on, so on, so on. We'll just equally to all regions, 100% to send, and send. Okay, so the colors. There's blue and red bars. Blue means that you can completely control that category for right now. So if you hover over it, it says Party Agitator 7, All Agitators 7. Had there been other parties with other agitators there, we would have seen Party Agitator 7, then All Agitators, whatever the total amount was, based on whoever else has contributed agitators to that region. Okay. Same thing with the activists. We're going to assign out 100% of our activists equally to all regions, send out. There we go. This one says Party Activists 14, All Activists 14. And again, we assign 226 activists equally to all of these different regions here. That's why there's only 14 in that one region. Okay? So there's also some other statistics like party influence sponsors. There's voters. You can see some stats there. Protests. If you've got a leader under the protest section, this will sort of strengthen that. But typically you need a lot of money to organize these demonstrations, these strikes, and these protests. That'll help you generate some voters and such. All right, so let's go ahead and get out of this screen by hitting headquarters. Great. Coalition. This is something that's a little bit further into the game. You can see here, total victory, 17.6%. Strong Great Britain, broad coalition, moderate left. After the election, you can form a coalition with parties of similar ideology. But down here it says not enough votes, you can't form it, and so on. So we'll be able to form coalitions at some point. Slogans, same thing. Trust. The parties choose slogans in turn. The parties with the greatest confidence choose the slogan first. So you can kind of see some statistics here and all that jazz. But this is more a later game. That's more down the line. This video is just to show you like an overview of what you're going to get into. All right, so now let's just go ahead and jump ahead a few turns, because right now we've got our newspaper. However, there's no tasks. Whenever the journalists are done creating articles, they will pop up down here under the available tasks. Then we'll assign them to various article slots. So let's just pass turn a couple of times. On the left-hand side, you'll see the voters, increase or decrease, sponsors, staff, budget per turn. You'll see all of that increase or decrease appropriately. Okay. We'll do next turn again. We'll do printing in a little bit. I want to give the journalists time to write stuff. Okay, there we go. All right, so journalists. Let's go to the... Yep, they're still working there. Great. And then if we go to print, and then go to add article. All right, now on the very bottom, you'll see interviews, compromising material, and slander. These are articles that these journalists have been working on. We can assign articles in a couple of ways. We can simply click on it, and it'll pop up there. What you typically want to do is pick the highest number. That's like the effectiveness of that article. You can do that. You can also queue up articles for the next edition, if you want to. Or, instead of doing that, you can hit Print Maximum Articles. There's a little check mark. That will automatically pick the best articles out of the bunch and assign them to this current run. And then you can choose the circulation of newspapers and leaflets. That is why we were assigning our journalists to various slots under the editorial team. There's leaflets, newspapers. So the more we have here, the more efficient that process is going to be. Now we can again manually assign circulation, 175K, you can see the price, circulation of leaflets, the price. Or there's optimal circulation, there's repeat circulation. So I'm just going to hit optimal and then hit print, and then it says 4.5 million, that'll be deducted. All right, so now we've got newspapers that we're about to distribute. And that number 36 down here by dogmas, by the way, is how many turns it'll take to learn a new dogma. All right, so if we hit next, we should see, yep, our voters just went up a huge amount because of that newspaper that just published. So that was good. And some new tasks have popped up, more voters, hire a leader, hire 500 agitators. So let's just do that. Let's hire a leader just to show you what completing those objectives is like. Hire. Let's look at their stats. Sure, that one looks good. And then we'll assign you to Treasury. There we go. And that task has been removed. Hire 500 agitators. We go to staff. Hire. We'll go ahead and hire 500 more agitators. There we go. And hire. There we go. Send 500 agitators to work. Click on map. Go to our agitators. Just send them out equally to all regions. Now you'll notice that there's a lot more red here. Look at that. Party agitators 50, all agitators 2,249. So the computer, over the last several terms, have hired all of these agitators and are working hard and trying to sway votes to their side. So that's something that they're doing. And you can also see the current voters and what they prefer and all that good stuff. On the left-hand side, you can see party support. We've got 19% right now of the party support, which is pretty good. All right. So this was just a general overview of the game. There's a little bit more to it than that, but should you buy this game, this should get you started at the very least. If you guys haven't already subscribed to me on Twitch and YouTube, that way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.